Everybody, we are finally about to start cutting some hay. So come out to that main paddock that me and Dad have been out and visited a couple of times. I've got the John Deere, the 6310 with the New Holland slasher on the back. We've just brought that up, just waiting for Dad to come up in the ute. We'll go into the paddock, we'll get another thoughts off Dad, we'll have a quick look, and then he'll probably jump in and we'll just set the slasher up. Because we haven't used it on the John Deere before, it's just set really to be on the Massey Ferguson, because that's all we've ever used it on. So we'll have to change the angles of it because the drawbar on the John Deere sits a little bit higher. So what we're going to do is we'll bring that in and we'll start like cutting a little bit, and we'll just fine tune it, get the deck where we need it to be, and then we'll be right to just rip into it. So wait for that to get up here, and then yeah, we'll go from there.
G'day viewers, back out here in the paddock again. We're going to cut for hay. We were here a week ago. It's matured a fair bit more, and we got a nice sunny day the day before Melbourne Cup. So we're going to have a crack and see what we can do as far as getting this one cut. Hopefully we'll get him cut without too many dramas, no rain, and as you can see it's fairly thick here, a little bit thin right out in the middle of the paddock. But we've got to get him cut because this stuff will end up going a bit too rank. So I'm going to do a few laps. Hopefully our new addition will be up to the task and the old slasher behaves itself, and it will all be happy days.
Just set myself on the bloody electric fence. Woo. And then Dad so kindly told me that it was on after. Cheers, Dad.
Oh, yeah, going alright.
Very much John Deere.
Cool bananas.
Alright, we've done about 6 laps. I think Dad did about 3 and I'm on my 3rd now. Yeah, well, I've been going okay. We're sort of just nutting out how we run, like what we need to do to run it, what it's like, gearing and such. I've broke 1 shear bolt on the slasher so far, which wasn't a big drama. That was my fault. I went into 2 gears too quickly, and yeah, the blade must have hit the ground and yeah, broke a shear bolt. So that's alright, we fixed that. And then we've busted a blade now because in one section there's a bit of a rocky outcrop where there's a few rocks poke out of the ground, and yeah, the blade must have just clipped it, and yeah, it was just enough to just snap that blade. So Dad's just shot up to the workshop to grab a new one, and we'll chuck the blade on, which that's no worries. It's like, you know, it's a pretty easy job to do. It takes a couple of minutes, and yeah, then we'll get back into it. But other than that, it seems to be going pretty good. Paddock's pretty rough because this is that paddock we had to just put in with the combine, and we didn't really get to, we worked the dirt, but then it all grew through all that wet areas and all that rubbish. So in one up near the blue gum tree plantation up there, It's quite rough because that was areas where it was quite boggy for the tractor when we were sowing, and I was getting bogged in. So I've got to take it a bit slower along there. And there's it's a bit of thicker there. There's a bit of thatch, which is a type of grass, and it's quite a thick plant. So I'll take it pretty easy there. But everywhere else, it's thick spots. Yeah, we're going pretty slow, just trying not to let the slasher slide out or anything. But yeah, we're motoring along. So once we get this blade on, we'll be able to continue going along as we were. Alright everybody, we're back at the shed with the slasher, minus 2 wind boards because we took them off. So since our last spec years when we were going to change that blade, we put the new blade on there, and now everything is just hidden and banging, and the blades are hidden blades, and we can't work out what the hell is going on. We've been messing around for like 2 hours on it, so we've brought it back. We're going to pull the top of the slasher off the top of the gearboxes, the cover, have a look at the holes where the shear bolts go, because we think they're pretty been worn out and flogged out. And if we think that's going to help the timing, we might try and dab a little bit of weld in there. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. So we'll rip this cover off and then we'll tell you what we find. Everybody, so still working on the slasher. We gave up in the end yesterday. I think just had enough. It was just being a bugger around. So Dad sort of come up with the idea of, well, we sort of come up with the idea that the 2 shafts that control the gearboxes, there was too much slop where those shear bolts were. So what Dad's done is he's welded a washer or a bit of plate on the top to take some of that slop out. So hopefully we'll take a little bit out, and that'll bring the timing a little bit closer to where it's meant to be. So I'll show you what he's actually done. So he's welded on that washer there. That's where the shear bolt goes, so that'll take some of the slop out of this shaft here. And then he's got the shaft out of this point as well, and he's gonna do the same thing. So he's doing that at the moment, and then once he's done that, we'll hopefully be able to see a big improvement in the amount of free play in the rotors. So when he's done that, we'll come back at you and show you. Alright, so Dad just finished his repairs on the drive shafts for it. We're just checking the slop in it. It's taken about 50% out, so that's a pretty good improvement. So hopefully the blades won't whack together now. So I'll show you what we actually did. So he's welded those plates on there, and that's just made the hole smaller where the bolt goes through. Same on this end, and he's done it on both sides. There was a bit of movement in this one up here still, but it was in the actual shaft in the gearbox, so there wasn't really much we could do. So Dad's going to start her up, or we're going to check the tractor out first, and then we're going to start it up, put it in gear and see what it does. Alright, we just tested the slasher, all good. Blades aren't hindered anymore. They seem to be better than what it was when we started, so that's a good thing. So we chucked the cover back on, slasher, and we're about to head back out there. So we'll hop back into it. Alrighty, so we're on the move again. The tractor seems to be going pretty good. Slasher's going good, no blades are hidden. It's going pretty good, so we're pretty happy about that. We left the wind boards off because they're so banged up. They keep whacking on the blades because they're so old and beat up. So Dad thinks we'll just experiment a bit this year. Without the wind boards, let the grass and hay, whatever, sort of spread out. It'll help it dry a little bit quicker. Yeah, we'll just break it up into rows when the time comes, but yeah, it might help it dry a little quicker, not being in such a large row. And Dad was saying that was sort of, when this slasher was new, that was sort of the idea at the time, was those panels make a row and protect it a little bit better from the rain. But yeah, now they don't even really worry about it that much, so see what happens this year. If all goes well, we might just continue doing it, but we can always repair those paddles again and do it again, but we'll see how we go. Well, we're having another relatively unsuccessful day. I've done about 6 laps, which was about as many as we done yesterday. And in the space of those 6 laps, I've broken 3 shear bolts. And we're not even hitting rocks or giant clumps of dirt. What's happening is because we've modified those shafts now and added those washers, and they're almost just under 1/4 of an inch thick. The original hole that comes in those bolts for the split pin is now in a spot where there's a lot of stress on it. So we've put new holes in it to put a split pin, because obviously we need to that hole's covered. So now it's like putting too much stress on that original hole, and that's the weak point now of that bolt. So it's just, yeah, too much stress. Just like a thick bit of grass, like it'll come through pretty thick here, thick bit even, with a bit of thatch and stuff in it. And yeah, it was just too much for the slasher handle. I just busted another shear bolt. So that's the 3rd one. We've got 1 left. But I think we're gonna cut our losses. I'll tell Dad what's going on, but I reckon we got a new one that we've got and an old one, but I think the grade of steel is different in each one. Gonna take them into town, go to a nut and bolt shop, and just, yeah, get some more fresh bolts, and then, yeah, we'll drill our own holes in them, and then we won't have that weak spot, and hopefully we won't have any more dramas after that, because it's working fine other than breaking those shear bolts, just because of those weak spots. Like, it's going fine. The slasher's running better than it was at the end of last year. It's going well, but yeah, just got to keep stopping every like 2.5 laps to chuck a shear bolt in. It's not economical. So let Dad know what's going on, and then I'm gonna try and head into town. Hopefully they're open. It's Melbourne Cup today. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be open, but we'll try. So probably be back tomorrow with some shear bolts, hopefully. Morning everybody, back again. So last night I went into town and bought a dozen new shear bolts. Now usually we get the New Holland genuine ones, which are these ones here. They come with the hole pre-drilled, but as you know, we're having the issue where we're having to extend that hole because of the way we modified those shafts. So it's breaking at that hole, which is the weak point on the bolt. Here's a broken one here. You can see it's broken at where that hole is. So with these bolts, they're longer, but I've made it so the shank will go all the way through and only the thread will be poking out. So what I need to do is just drill a hole in a new spot and just nip the end off, so just to shorten it down, and then it should be right. So what I'm going to do is just make some marks on the bolts, and then, yeah, I'll drill the holes and cut the ends off them, and then, yeah, hopefully that'll work and we won't have any more dramas. So I'll mark them out, and then, yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, just finished putting the shear bolts into the slasher. I changed both of them just because there was one that was broken. I put a new one in, and the other one was one of the ones that was probably going to break. So I chucked a new one in there as well. So fired it up, everything's working alright. So we're going to go back down to where I finished yesterday, and then we'll start cutting again. Fingers crossed we do more than 3 laps before something breaks. So let's see what happens. We're finally cracked the 6 lap mark. So this is the most laps we've done in one day. The last 2 days we've only done 6 laps, and then that's been all we've been able to do. But we seem to be going strong at the moment. Those new bolts seem to be holding up. Haven't broken yet. Let's hope they don't. So yeah, just gonna keep plugging along. Had a couple of little showers. Hopefully it doesn't rain anymore. It's not raining at the moment, but if we get too much more, I might have to stop. Probably a bit too wet. But yeah, we're going alright at the moment, so just keep plugging along. Broke a shear bolt, so I'm just going to quickly pull that out. We've been going pretty good. It's the first one I've broken in ages actually. I think this is the one where I had the thread a little bit too close to the pressure point of it. So yeah, it's not such a big problem, but quickly swap that out and then we'll be alright to keep going. Alright everybody, just finished up for the day. Yeah, so it went pretty good. I only had the one shear bolt break today, which was partly my fault because I drilled the hole a little bit too low on the bolt, so that was alright though. So I've probably done about half the paddock, I think. I'll come out tomorrow and finish it, should get it done, and then yeah, that'll be this paddock done. So I'll see you in the morning. Morning, back out cutting hay again. Just arrived, so gonna check the tractor out, check all the oils and whatnot. They left me a grease gun here as well, so I'll give the slasher a quick grease and chuck a bit of grease on the tractor, and then yeah, we'll rip into it and get going. Hopefully get this done today. I'm hoping maybe get it done before lunch. See how we go though. Yeah, so give the tractor and slasher a check over, then we'll hop into it. Alrighty, just greased the slasher tractor, checked all the oils, made sure everything's all good. So now we are right to rip into it. As you were just saying then, got a bit of cloud coming over. I think it rained earlier this morning. It's a bit wet, it's no wetter than yesterday when I had a few little showers come over. But if those clouds, if it pisses down from those clouds, might have to stop for a while and let the sun come out because it'll probably get a little bit too wet. But we'll see what happens. Chicken snity! Finishing up for the day. Dad's going to come out tonight, I think, and finish off the little bit that's left. Not very much, I think a few acres in the headlands. So probably going to end the video here. So this is the first paddock done. This is the biggest one we have to do. The other two ones are relatively small, so that won't be so bad to do. But yeah, anyway, finish her up here and come back at you when we start cutting the next paddocks, or yeah, with whatever we're doing. So thanks for watching everybody, see you in the next one.